All right, guys, today is Unit 3, Day 3, some things that you're given and what you need to solve for. So the first thing is if you're given information is the slope and the y-intercept, you're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. If you're given the slope and just kind of a random point that you need to use to solve, then we are going to use the point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. If the information given to you tells you that it's a horizontal line and they give you a point as well, an ordered pair, then you are going to use the y coordinate. That's going to be your y equals. And similar, if you're given a point and they're told that it is a vertical line, then you're going to use the x coordinate for your equation. So let's get started. Let's look at number 1. So number 1 says, write the equation of the line with the given information. So it gives us a slope and a y-intercept. So we're going to put it into y equals mx plus b form. So all we're going to do is take our slope and substitute that in for our m. So that's y equals 2x, and then our b is just going to be our negative 3. So y equals 2x minus 3. Number 2, the slope is negative 4 and the y-intercept is 0, 1. Same thing again. We're going to use y equals mx plus b, and we're just going to substitute in our values. So y equals, our slope is negative 4, and then our y-intercept, we're going to look there, is 1. So it's negative 4x plus 1. There's 1 and 2. So for 3 and 4, we're going to look at the graphs given to us, and we're going to determine from the graph that's given to us what our y-intercept is and what our slope is. So the first thing we're going to look at is our y-intercept. So that's this point right here. So we know that's negative 1. So our ordered pair would read 0, negative 1. So we know right away that that's going to be a negative 1 there. And then we need to determine our slope. So here's a point here. Now, the graph is not super great, so we're going to do our best here, but we're going to determine another point. So I'm going to say maybe 2, 4 is going to be our point here. So now we need to determine the slope. So we're going to say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our rise would be 5. And we went over 2. So our rise over run would be 5 halves. So that would be, 5 halves would be our slope. So y equals 5 halves x minus 1. So let's try that again on number 4. So we're going to look for our y-intercept, and it looks like it is 0, 0. So 0, 0. So that means we're not going to have anything. You can put a plus 0 if that's going to help you. Plus 0 there. And now we need to determine our slope. So we went, let's see, let's call this our slope right here. Up 3, so 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. So that would be 3 and a negative 1. So it would be negative 3, 1, or 3, negative 1. So y equals negative 3x plus 0. So you don't need the 1 there, but I wrote it in so you guys can see. So it would be the same as saying y equals negative 3x plus 0. So let's do number 5. So 5 says the slope of 2, and it's passing through the point 3, 2. So for this, we're going to use our point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So we're going to substitute in our y and our x into the y sub 1 and the x sub 1, and then our slope in for m. So we will have y minus 2 equals, our slope is 2 times x minus x sub 1, so that's going to be minus 3. And then we'll distribute our 2 here. So y minus 2 equals 2x minus 6. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I have y equals 2x minus 4. And that's my final answer. So let's look at number 6. Same thing again here, giving us a slope and an ordered pair. So we're going to do y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So I'm going to take my slope and I'm going to plug it in for my m, and then my ordered pair. My 1 is going to go in for my x sub 1, and my 4 is going to go in for my y sub 1. So I'll do y minus 4 equals negative 3 times x minus 1. Again, I'm going to distribute. So I have my negative 3, so that becomes negative 3x plus 3. I'm going to bring down my y minus 4, and I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I now have y equals negative 3x plus 7. And there's my final answer for 6. And then the last two I have here, 7 gives me a slope and a point again. So same equation, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So substituting those values in again. So y minus 2 equals, my slope is negative 1/2 times x minus a negative 1, so that's x plus 1. So I'm going to distribute here. So I have negative 1/2 x minus one-half, and I have y minus 2. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I end up with y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1 1/2. And then the very last problem we have is 8, and it says we have a vertical line passing through 5, 7. So if we were given a vertical line and a point, we're going to look at our x coordinate right there. So if it's a vertical line and it gives us our x coordinate, we're going to do x equals 5. And that's going to be our line. Now if it said horizontal, we're going to do the same thing, just looking at our y. So if this says a horizontal line and this is the point given to us, then it would just be y equals 7. And that's it.